Welcome in, Shield Brothers and Shield Maidens, to Shield's Rest. I'm Brown.
No, I'm Frey.
If savagely tearing through enemies sounds like your kind of chaos, you'll be excited for today's video. We are merging symbiotic fury with tactical brutality, where every tendril lashes and every fight ends with you devouring the competition.
We're Venom.
Venom is a symbiotic, sentient alien organism that has shared a list of hosts, though he's most iconically known for his host, Eddie Brock. Venom dives in to support allies by unleashing chaos and vicious attacks, while also crowd controlling his enemies. For our Venom, we've chosen to make him a Beastborn Orc Warlock with Monk and Champion multiclasses and the Eldritch Warlock subclass. Frey, let's get started.
Right. So for our ancestry traits, like I said, we're going Beastborn and Orc. From Beastborn, we're picking up Burrow Speed, Hazardous Hide, Climb Speed, and Spider Climb at level 1. And then when we get to level 4 is when we're going to go into Orc to pick up Orc Dash and Finishing Blow. For our class features from Warlock, specifically we're going to be using our Warlock Contract for that Desperate Bargain. And we're going to be utilizing Packed Armor from our Packed Boon. The talents, we're going to be multi-classing into Monk to pick up some Monk stances. And we're going to go into Champion to pick up Fighting Spirit so that we have access to Second Wind. Our subclass, like I said, we're going Eldritch. This is going to give us Forbidden Knowledge so we can pick up a spell for free. And as well as getting Alien Comprehension as our flavor feature to simulate, that Venom coming from space and all that stuff. And then finally, for our 3 spells, we're picking up Fire Shield, Tethering Vines, and Crackling Lightning.
Venom has the following abilities in Marvel Rivals: Dark Predation, Venom Swing, Symbiotic Resilience, Frenzied Arrival, Cellular Corrosion, Alien Biology, which is a passive, and his ultimate ability, Feast of the Abyss. And we're going to start first, of course, with Dark Predation.
All right, so for Dark Predation in the game, this is a 4 ranged attacks rapid fire after each other. We are going to be utilizing dual wielding whips and our mongoose stance for this. So how it'll play out is we will make our first attack with our whip. This allows us to activate our mongoose stance's ability, giving us an extra melee attack on a separate target. So you just have to have 2 targets next to each other for this to work. And then our second whip attack, which will not suffer the multiple check penalty as we are dual wielding them. So quick, easy. When we weren't able to get to 4 attacks, this does only give us 3, but close as we can get. And I think it works out well.
Hey, you can use an extra action point and just take the penalty, but yeah, that's to each their own how you want to play that. I did like how the whips have reach property as well, so you get that extra space, which really flavors that reach of the attack. So next we have the Venom Swing. So this is similar to what we did for Spider-Man if you watched that video. This is essentially just combined, a couple of combined things here, but Orc Dash is what we're going to use to move towards the enemy with a minor action, so flavoring that additional movement. And then you'll need some GM discretion here, but the switch to Gazelle stance to increase your jump and speed as well. And then you have Spider Climb and also Climb Speed for moving off of walls with the swing. Difference of Spider-Man and Venom is that Venom has that more one power swing versus Spider-Man's couple of more agile swings. So we wanted to change it up slightly there by giving it the Orc Dash and some other flavor features instead of just reusing it.
Symbiotic Resilience. So this is a active ability that allows you to regain temporary HP based on how much health you are currently missing. How we're going to play this one out is a combination of Fighting Spirit using the Second Wind option in there. This is an automatic move, so this one's not really an active ability, but it will give you 2 health and an extra SP whenever you start your round in the bloodied condition. On that turn that automatically activates, we're going to go ahead and pop our Fire Shield as well. This is going to give us temporary HP depending on how much we succeed on our spell casting roll, because we have the success by 5s for this one. And additionally, you can empower this for a hefty cost. It's 3 mana points, but you can bolster this to give you 10 temporary HP on top of that. So you can, just like in the game, get a really big pool of temporary HP once you hit that like halfway mark on your health. So really big. I was surprised to see that 10 HP bonus from that was really big.
Yeah, I think we bounced around a couple ideas, but ultimately I really liked how we settled on Fire Shield because of that optional like additional HP is just, it's too enticing. Next we have the Frenzied Arrival, which we originally were going to take Heroic Bash for this. Seemed like the easy option. However, with this build at this level, we only get access to one technique, so we're using that later on, you'll see. So we chose to use a spell instead, which we've chosen Crackling Lightning. Obviously, we're going to reflavor that a bit, but when we use Crackling Lightning, we're using the Sphere effect. So essentially, we're still jumping into a group, using the effect, and doing that damage. So no knock-up, essentially there, and not really diving in. But the thought is you're doing a Venom swing or some kind of movement into this as like a combo. So Crackling Lightning, Sphere. However, later when you get access to more techniques, you can swap this out for Heroic Bash.
Absolutely. You can even go if you wanted to swap up the subclass, like if you didn't want a spell that you can get for a free cost, which our Fire Shield would be free. I forgot to mention on the last one. It's a 0 mana cost on that one move, the one time we use it. If you didn't want that, you can also go Paragon, which allows you to repick features that you didn't pick in the past on there. So you could go pick up Packed Weapon, and you'd get more options weapon-wise from that as well. So a couple ways you can play it out there. That's just how we did it here. But that does lead us into Cellular Corrosion. This is an ability that he has that shoots tentacles around to enemies around him, applies a slow, and if the enemies are still there after a certain amount of time, they'll take some damage. For this, we are using two abilities. One is the Hazardous Hide, which is our ancestry trait. This is more for the flavor of it. The ability reads, you have these like almost bubbling tentacle-like things that are around you, or barbs even. Obviously, for them, we're going to go with the bubbling tendrils and all that. But it does do damage to anybody who grapples you, so a nice bonus there. And then we're going to use our Tethering Vines spell to shoot out those vines and try and get them grappled in place. So won't necessarily slow them per se. This is more so trying to keep them in place, but I think it plays out well. The Tethering Vines, I think, is a perfect fit for this ability there.
Yeah, it's just slowing them in a different way. They have to use an action point to try to break out, so it does like delay what they're trying to do. So I count it. Next ability is Alien Biology. Very simple, but this is again ancestry traits of Spider Climb and Climb Speed. Very similar to Spider-Man, if not the same. This is just your ability to move at the same speed you would on a wall as you would on the floor.
Last up, Feast of the Abyss. This is a good one. This one I had a lot of fun with. A combination of several things. So in the game, this is where he moves underground, tries to get under his enemy, and then bolts up out of the ground, does damage to everybody, gets a little bit of lifesteal, extra healing, all that. So how we're doing this is we're utilizing our burrow speed. So half movement as we burrow, but still get underground, get underneath our enemies. Using Finishing Blow from our orc side, this is just going to allow us to do extra damage to any targets that we hit that are well bloodied. So just a way to squeeze out a little more damage for it if we're using it at the right time. Then we are going to activate our Desperate Bargain feature once we kind of pop up and hit everyone for 1 AP. This is going to give us HP based on our Prime modifier, which I think at this level should be 3. So we get 3 healing from that. It does expose us till the end of our next turn, so people have advantage on our attacks, but it was the price to pay for healing, right? And then when we pop up as well, we are going to use our Whirlwind technique, bolstering it with the Blood Whirl to hit everybody in the area there. So this was the ability I think we were going to, in my head, have the hardest time getting in there, but it came together beautifully.
Yeah, we actually tried to do it like 2 or 3 different ways. I will say too, a good point. If you follow up a Feast of the Abyss after a Symbiotic Resilience, even if you're on your exposed turn, so to speak, if you've got that 10 temporary HP, you're not going to care about that. So
yeah, that's just there if you need the extra healing, and to match the ability. But in theory, you could probably have extra HP already and not need it. So
he's a tank in the game, right? So he should be built to deal damage and tank and flow into either one of those, kind of like how he does. So definitely a very prominent force on the battlefield that you don't want to ignore, and you also want to look out for him when you're low on HP, because he definitely has a finisher move. I think this is probably the first hero, if not the only one that has a finisher that we've covered at least. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something to look out for. But here's the breakdown. Fry, do you have any like specific comments that you haven't already mentioned? I really liked how the build came together. Again, with Spider-Man, there's like 2 of these abilities are relatively the same, but everything else totally different playstyle, right? But we used Monk on both builds, so
Yeah, I think it shows like you can have like 2 of the same class, right? Like not the main class, but we have like the monk going agile with Spider-Man, but more like in your face, hefty with this one, just using the same, almost the same stances, I think too, but it's just reflavoring them in a different way.
we did.
Which
Yeah.
I really like about the system so far, and everything we covered is you can really take the same ability on 2 different builds, and depending on how you flavor it or combo it with other things, it plays out completely differently. But no, I really like where this one went, and I think this is one of the ones too. There was a couple builds along the way, but this is the one where I think we went back and forth a lot as far as like, oh, we could do this, we could do this, we rebuilt this way, or use completely different classes to get similar results, and it just plays out different. I don't know if that's just us getting more familiar with the system, so now we have all these options on hand, or what. But there's a million one ways to build this one in particular. So I had a lot of fun getting it to like where it is now. And I think this one utilized ancestry traits the most. Like this was us cutting down. So we used 7 ancestry points, and we were at like 9 or 10 at one point. So this was a fun one for the ancestry side.
We could have used more for sure. Yeah, I think the thing for me was like, we kind of locked into things, and when we changed one thing, we had to like kind of redo some other stuff as well. So I agree. We saw that more with this build probably than the other heroes that we did. But this concludes for now at least, Marvel Rivals DC20 character build. So keep an eye out for a video that we'll be releasing soon through YouTube Shorts is what we're planning. For more information and announcements on the Shields at Holmgang event that we've referenced, the PvP battle that we hope to do with these heroes that we've built using Foundry Virtual Tabletop. So stay tuned. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and until next time, keep that shield wall strong.